Hi, everybody. Happy Sunday. Happy 2024. I hope you're all doing well. So, I am just opening up Cricut Design Space because in today's video, I am going to show you again how you can create your own rhinestone templates in Cricut Design Space. So, yes, you can create your rhinestone templates in Silhouette Studio and bring them into Cricut Design Space to cut them with whichever Cricut machine you have. No, we don't all have access to Silhouette Studio, the business edition. You would need to purchase that. So I came up with a hack for creating rhinestone templates right in Cricut Design Space. So we're going to use that using the rhinestone grids that I created in order for you to do this hack. So I do have an 8x8 grid and a 12x12 grid. Both grids can be accessed on my Payhip page. The 8x8 grid is free. The 12x12 is there for a small cost. Now you can use the 8x8 grid to do any design. It's just that you need to do them in segments. If you have a graphic that is going to be large, you may want to use the 12x12 grid. If you haven't seen any of my videos using this hack before, I am going to leave them in the description. We're going to use the hack, but I'm not going to go in every single bit of detail as I have done in the previous video. So we are in January and we are moving to the next celebration, which is Valentine's. So what I'm going to be doing for you today is a love note design. So we are going to write love and we're going to get a really cute envelope from Creative Fabrica and we are going to convert that to a rhinestone template. So if you are new here, I'm Tanya with yanxa.creations and this is my channel where I absolutely love sharing with you all my crafting ideas. So I hope you enjoy this video and you go ahead, download the free grid, try it out and leave me some comments so I can know how it's working for you. All right, without further ado, let's jump right into Cricut Design Space. All right, so to create this love letter or love note design, I did go to Creative Fabrica and I found this really cute bundle. So from that bundle, I decided to take the envelope. So let's go ahead and load that to the canvas. Now for text, I am going to use a rhinestone font that I took away from Creative Fabrica as well. But let's go ahead and size our envelope right now. It is 12 by 7.63. I'm thinking we could take this down to about 7.5. All right. So remember, once you are creating a rhinestone template, you need to size it first. And then once you've sized it, you cannot adjust it because you will shift the size of the rhinestone. So once you have selected the size, you need to stick with that size. All right. So we have the size that we want. So let's go ahead and add in our text. All right. So I want it to say love. Okay. So the font that I'm going to use for this is, let's see if I find it. I can't remember the name of it now, but I will definitely link it for you. So it's going to be beadwork. So let's select that font. When you go to download your fonts, you will see in that font list what size what the font size needs to be to fit your rhinestones. All right. So I believe that this would need to be 74, so it's just a little bit off. Let's switch that to 74. All right, so now we would have that the right size. But we can go ahead and check it. Let's select a circle. And rhinestone fonts, if we're going to be in inches, you would need to set the size to 0.123 inches in diameter. And then we can do a comparison. So let's just bring that here and we can see, okay, we're at the right size. So for this beadwork font, your font size needs to be 0.74. All right, so let's take our little dot and we're just going to scooch it, select it and scooch it over here because we're going to use it a little bit later. Set my love aside. So what we're going to do, I'm going to select the entire design. I am going to ungroup it. All right. So the envelope is still grouped. So let's go ahead and ungroup that as well. Then I'm going to select the heart and I am going to duplicate it twice. And let's pull these to the side. And so what we're going to do, let's move this aside as well. The first thing that we're going to do is to take this triangle out of the rectangle. All right. So let's go ahead and set it just a little bit above the triangle so we eliminate the outline, the pink outline. So let's go ahead and select both parts and we are going to slide. But let's go ahead, we can delete this portion of it now. And we will have our triangle here. So let's go ahead and put our triangle back. Let's shift it to the right a bit so it's centered. All right, that looks good. So we're going to take our heart and put it here. And then we are going to bring to front. And then now that we have the heart selected, we're going to select this white piece as well. And we are going to slice. Right. Select this piece and we're going to delete that. Let's select this portion as well as this portion. And we are going to slice. Nice. So let's delete that. Let's delete that and let's delete. No. Oops. We want to delete this part. Perfect. All right. So we do have this outline right here, but that's fine. We are going to turn each piece into the rhinestone template and these lines will get eliminated in that process. So our heart should be able to come and fit right into this spot. Okay, so now that we have all of the pieces, what we're going to do is to turn each of these pieces into a rhinestone template. So I'm going to go ahead and shift these off to the side, out the way. So we just had these as backup pieces, okay? And we have our dot that we're going to use later on. So let's shift these. And so what we're going to do is bring in the rhinestone template grid, all right? For this template to work for SS10, we are going to size it. It is now at 17.27. In order for it to work, we're going to size it at 8.3 and it will adjust the height to the correct height. So it's 8.3 by 8.7 and we will be able to fit SS10 rhinestones into this grid. So the SS10 rhinestone grid is what allows us to actually create a rhinestone template in Cricut Design Space. All right, there is actually no make rhinestone option. And so this is a hack that I've found to be really, really great. So let's go ahead and begin. So again, I am going to duplicate this. We have 3 pieces, all 3 pieces. We won't be able to get it out of this one. If you have the 12 by 12 grid, you will be able to do all 3 pieces at once. So I've shifted it out of the way. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take our pink box and I'm going to bring that right onto the grid. And I'm going to line it up in such a way that I'm not losing any pieces. Let me zoom up. I'm not losing any of the pieces on the sides or at the bottom, or I can do that as much as possible to reduce the number of corrections that we're going to need to make. So for example, right at the bottom here, I'm just going to go ahead and I am going to let's bring it forward. And I'm going to bring it down until it covers all these holes at the bottom. All right, then to back again so we can see. All right, so all the holes are covered on this side. We have all holes covered on this side, all holes on the bottom. Most of the holes here are covered, so we're going to have to do a few hole replacements along the sides, but we are good. All right, so let's go ahead and select the grid now. Let's select the grid along with it, and we're going to slice. So let's pick out the parts of it that we want. So we can set this aside. In fact, let's go ahead. I think I was a little bit impatient with Cricut Design Space and it did it twice. So let's delete that. We can delete this as well. All right, these ones with the holes, we're going to delete it. What we want to keep this layer with the circles. That's what we want to keep. All right, so we can go ahead and delete everything else. So we have this portion left. We can cut the heart from it, but this is the bottom of our envelope. Let's go ahead and get our heart. And we're going to do the same thing here. We're going to position it so that we don't lose too much, or when we cut it out, we have a pretty good sense of which ones we need to correct. All right, so we're going to have to replace a few of the holes along here because we won't have it cut out properly, and we're going to replace a few of these. Let's select our heart, and we will select the grid as well. Let's slice. All right, so again, so we don't have enough space here to take our triangle out. So I'm going to use the grid over here. So let's go ahead and delete this one. Oops. Remember, we can't change the size, so let's undo. So let's pull this away and we can delete it. Take out this cut and delete it. And this is the one we want. So we can opt to just remove these. I'll definitely replace this circle on the bottom here to keep the shape of the heart. We will replace this one, this one, this one, this one. So we have a few hole replacements. All right. So when I talk about a hole replacement, you're going to see shortly. So because we're cutting it out of the grid, we're going to have these partial holes. And we don't want our Cricut to cut that because we can't fit a rhinestone in it. So if you remember this circle, the spare circle that I had, I said we're going to need it later. So we're going to duplicate these and we're going to use them in these places where we have partial holes. We're going to bring them in and we're going to put them there to make up for the missing pieces. Now, I know that it sounds like a lot, but if you are creating your design in Silhouette Studio, there is some amount of adjustments that you're going to need to make. You might find that you have to go in and rearrange some of your holes so that they are not overlapping, or you may need to take away some of them and put back some in different places. So doing it in Cricut Design Space is not going to be any more difficult than having to do it in Silhouette Studio. All right, so let's go ahead and set our heart aside and tackle the triangle. To do that, we're going to pull our new rhinestone grid over here, and we're going to bring this part onto the grid. And we're always going to do the same thing where we're trying to make sure that we are not losing too many holes. So let's select our triangle again, and let's select our grid again and slice. All right. So we don't need this anymore, but let's take it to the bottom just in case. So let's pull this away. Let's delete it. And let's take this away. And what we want again are our circles. So basically, if we take all of these and we reassemble, all right, we are going to get our envelope. All right, so now what we need to do is some cleanup. So as you can see, if we decide to go along with it this way, we're going to have some overlap. All right, let's shift you to the right a bit. Yeah. So we're going to have some overlap. If you created this in Silhouette Studio, it would be the same. You would have the overlap. You would have to go in and delete all the circles that are overlapping. So what we're going to do is, looking at this, I can see right away that some of these holes we don't need to replace. We just need to delete them because there are circles at the edges. So what we will do is we will delete all the half circles, all the partial circles, fit them together, and then at the borders, we will decide where we're going to do our hole replacement. All right. So where is it that we're gonna take one of these circles to make up for the loss of these partial pieces here? All right. So it's that simple, guys. We're almost finished. All we're going to do is eliminate our partial holes and put in a few of these, and we are done. When we're done, we would have our rhinestone envelope, and we will have our text, and we can create something beautiful. So let me show you how you're going to eliminate those. All right, where are we going to start? Let's start with the bottom portion of our envelope because I think it has, actually it does not have that many adjustments, but let's go ahead and click on that. When we click on it, we're going to come over to the right panel and we're going to go over to contour. And in contour panel, we can eliminate all of them. So it is populating all of the dots, as you can see. So it is going to take a while. The more dots that you have in your design, it will take some time for it to populate. Right, so here is our design. So as you can see, these are lots of holes. So yes, it will take some time to populate. On this right panel, you can see each of these individual circles or pieces of circles. So you can eliminate the pieces right here in the image, or you can eliminate them from the panel. Now, I don't mind eliminating this partial circle right here. It's pretty easy to get rid of. And as you can see, it has been grayed out. As I start to get rid of these little pieces along the side, you will see them disappear from the design here. Now, these teeny tiny ones, for me, I find it very difficult to gray them out on the design here. So I definitely gray them out from the panel. These partial ones. So the other thing I didn't mention that you might want to think about is to actually duplicate this image here so that when you eliminate in this panel, you will have the original one with all the little pieces as a reference to know where you should put the holes back. But I think this one we're able to see clearly where we want to put things back. So I'm okay with not having duplicated it. So for example, I tried to eliminate this little one right here. I didn't get to do it. It's a little bit harder. Okay, grayed out now. All right, so we can do that. All right, I just think it's a little bit faster to gray them out along here. So anything that is a partial circle, we're going to get rid of it. So we can just come over to the panel, click on them, and they will begin. If you see right here on the side as I click on it, these begin to disappear. I think we're all good. Okay, so let's hit close. And as you can see, all the partial pieces are missing. And where it is in the grid, we can have a sense of where we need to put our circles back. All right. So let's go ahead and select our heart. Okay, so let's do the larger ones first. Let's do the ones that's going to give us the most work first. So let's do the top part of the envelope. Let's go to contour and wait for this to load again. Okay, all loaded and ready to go. All right, so we're gonna do the same thing. You can choose which ones you're gonna eliminate directly from here. So these larger ones, so easy to take care of right here. But again, we can come to the panel and get rid of them. So, all right, all done pretty quick. So let's get over here. Again, we can see where it is that we need to do some replacement. So our top part is done. We have some replacement. We need to put back a few pink ones here. And we're going to put some of these white circles in here. And we're going to put 1 and 2 of them into the V right here. And we're going to put a few of them along here. So what we're going to want to do is to deal with the heart. All right. So I'm going to go do that and come right back. But before I do that, I'm going to go ahead and this one to me is more tricky. So I'm going to go ahead and duplicate this heart so that I can have it for reference to know exactly which ones I wanted to replace. I know I want to replace this one, this one, this one, but just for reference to help me out a bit, I'm going to keep this here. Okay, everything is all good. Now we need to start doing our whole replacement. So here is that circle that I started out with. So what we're going to do, let's just click on it and we're going to come over to the panel and we are just going to keep duplicating it. All right. Okay. So they're appearing right here on the left. So what we're going to do, we're just going to select a particular area that we want to fill first. So I'm thinking let's fill these circles first. Let's fill in the top of the envelope. We're going to fill in a circle there. Anywhere we think that it would allow it to look really full. All right. So let's put these in here. Looks good. What I did right there was to overlay my reference heart so that I could see exactly where these circles should be in reference to it. All right. So now that I've put those in, I can see that maybe I could have one more right here since I didn't have a circle there for the heart. So I could add one of these there. Trying to get it in the right spot. Take it to the left a little bit. That looks good. And all right, that looks great. I think I am pretty much finished with these circles. So I'm just going to go ahead and select this heart and move it away. I'm gonna select that, move it away. And then I am going to select all of my circles over in the panel here. Ideally, you could move the heart, move the pink circles, and then draw a box around everything. But I sort of want to leave everything in place exactly as it is so that I can be clear as to where I need to put the additional circles. All right. So now that we've selected all of those circles, let's scroll down. Let me scroll down. And then I am going to select as well this part of the slice. And I am going to go ahead and weld them. And there we go. So we have all the holes here that needed to be replaced. They were all replaced and they are one piece. So let's go ahead and just hit undo so that we can put it back exactly where it ought to be. All right, so now that we have welded all of this, we're going to go ahead and put our heart right back here where it ought to be. To our reference piece right there. And that's going to help us to know where we're going to put these pink circles. So now we're substituting for the pink circles. So let's go ahead and select this one and let's make some duplicates. All right. All right. So maybe we could put one right here. We don't have to, but let's see. Okay, that looks good. All right, so that's probably going to be a little bit too tight. So basically we're basically finished here. So let's move these away. So we had only a few things we needed to replace. So let's go ahead and hold down Shift and we're going to start selecting our circles right here. Let's go ahead and select our pink section and we're going to go ahead and weld. Right. So the only thing left for us to replace now are the pieces of the heart. Okay, so now we need to select our heart. Let's select this one and let's move it out of the way. Let's just push it out the way. We can grab it without shifting anything. There we go. So again, we just had that there to help us out. But now that we've done the top layer here and we've done our bottom layer, then basically any holes that we're putting in now is in relation to our heart. So let's go ahead and do that. I'm going to call that. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and delete these extra ones so that we can go ahead and just select. All right. That is it. And then on the panel, we're going to also select this part of the slice. We don't need that one. We can delete that soon. We're going to select that as well. And then we're going to go over into combined and we're going to weld. All right. So we could undo and remove this circle. All right. We could do that. So it's up to you. It's a little bit close, so I would probably take it out. But For all intents and purposes, it's all done. Let's go ahead and delete this. And let's bring our text back. And so we have our love note. So if we take everything and group it, we can see we have a design that is almost 10 wide, which is great. That's perfect for a t-shirt. So what I'm going to do is to go ahead and group everything. Guys, this is our design. This is our design. As I said, I would actually perhaps go back and remove this particular one, but we can work with it for now. So even in Silhouette Studio, you do have some areas where you can have some areas where you have some open spaces. It is a little bit easier to manipulate in, I'm not gonna lie, it is easier to manipulate in Silhouette Studio because you can free each of these and then you could shift them to the left or the right to fill up these spaces. Now you can still do that here. What you would need to do though is to select each piece, go to contour, when it comes up, these extra ones that you don't want, these ones here, you could hide them and then come back and put in some replacements in order to fill up these spaces. So it is doable just like in Silhouette Studio. It's just that in Silhouette Studio, you don't have to go to the contour panel. Right here, you'd be able to say, release rhinestones, and then you could free each one of these and you could shift them around to close up these spaces and to widen these, and it would be a lot easier. Here you'd have to contour it away and then replace it. But I also wanted to share with you that it is possible for you to create these types of designs right in Cricut Design Space using the Rhinestone Template hack. So jump right on over to make it. And we're going to say on a mat, confirm. And so you will have everything broken out for you. So this is the first mat with the top part of our envelope. We have our love text. We can have the heart, and we're going to have the lower part. So just the same, if you did it in Silhouette and brought it into Cricut, you have all 4 components that you can cut individually, and then you can place them. All right, so it is completely doable here in Cricut Design Space. I hope you try this and leave me a comment, and I hope you can see that this can be fun. Thank you so much for watching. So leave me some comments when you try this, and I'll see you in the next one.